Darcy had to put so many other things on the hold to get these tunics done up. And she shows up. It was like a couple days before filming, and like there's other characters in costumes she's supposed to be working on. And because I like went behind Matt's back and got her to do this, she showed up, and she's like, "Okay, guys." She's like, "I didn't get a bunch of other stuff done, but I got the tunics done." And Matt looked at me. He's just like, "What?" He's like, "What do you mean the tunics?" Anyways, she pulled out the tunics, and Matt was so pissed. But then when he saw the tunics, he looked at me. He's like, "You're so lucky. She did an incredible job on these tunics." He's like, "Because I was gonna murder you. Because like the movie's about to start. We're missing outfits."
And you go behind the director's back and just are like, "I want this side project done." Everybody, and welcome to a special episode of How'd You Like That Movie? We're going to be doing a Canadian content episode, Canadian A, and we're going to be talking about a very local film, a very Canadian film called A Night's War, which is going to be premiering Friday, March 21st at the Apollo Cinema in Kitchener-Waterloo. Scott, take us away.
Why would I take us away? We have guests. Why are you not introducing the guests?
You introduce the guests. You got to do some work around here to earn your shekels.
I was so not ready for this. All right. Yeah. We got two awesome guests. I was going to say Matthew, but it's not Matthew. It's Jeremy and Kristen Kaster, the stars. And I'm assuming you guys wore very many hats based on the credits of this film. Guys, just do some I can't even say.
You blew it! Say some stuff. Yeah, do some stuff.
Yeah, no, shame. I was going to say what do you call it? Shameless
self-promotion. Yes,
yeah. Shameless self-promotion. Yeah. Oh, we're glad to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So, I mean, this thing is shot in Kitchener-Waterloo and Alberta and BC, it looks like.
Yes.
Okay. It's produced by High Rise Studios, which is out of like Conestogo.
Yep.
Right. It's distributed by Black Fawn, which is out of like Hamilton and Guelph. And where are you guys from?
So I live in Conestogo. So like, yeah, for people where the rim is like probably 5 minutes away from us. When they were big, they have all the buildings right beside us, right before they went under. So that's how we always tell people we're close to the old rim buildings.
Like there's some tie-in with BlackBerry there.
Yeah.
And what about you, Kristen?
I grew up very close to Conestogo as well, but I live in Toronto right now.
Okay, but you are from like kind of the KW, Cambridge, Guelph area?
Yeah.
So really this film, the only way it could be even more local is if it was literally about Mennonites.
Yeah.
Oh, it actually helped, get an easy way to get some horses on it.
There you go. Yeah. Actually, yeah, did you have horses in this? I can't remember.
No, we didn't. We had it actually written in, and then, just for budget and time, we actually cut those parts out. We're just like, all right, it's too much.
So are you able to, this thing looks a lot big. I don't know what your budget is. I don't know if you can share your budget, but it definitely looks like a much bigger budget film. Like whatever you guys were doing with your movie magic, it worked.
We're allowed to say budget, right? Quarter. Yeah. So we were working with $250,000 for this film.
That's the whole thing. That includes post, pre-production.
So
everything.
Yeah, and then you get tax credits involved like that, which can balloon the budget up a bit. But essentially, working money was $250,000, and that was for the whole thing.
How long was your shoot?
We had it start to finish. It was done in a year. So I think our shoot was it was under 45 days, I believe. And there's obviously like pickups, like whenever you have like fight scenes and stuff like that, like you'll have a whole day, used for like a 10-20 second scene. But the main production was around under 45 days.
So so you were the fight choreographer, correct?
Yes.
Had you done that before? Because again, this looks like you've got guys in armor. You've got choreographed fight sequences with both of you, plus like that evil witch demon lady,
Yeah.
which again, where you keep like kind of like it's like die, repeat, die, repeat, die, repeat. Like
Yeah.
this is like there's some very high level stuff going on in this film for such a small budget.
Yeah, so I've done, I think now 6 films with my brother, and for all the films, we've done the choreography ourselves, and we've slowly been building our way up. We've got to do, we go to some wrestling gyms and, some BJJ places, and we've always dabbled in a bit of that and used that for inspiration. But yeah, this was all basically, we just came up with the choreography ourselves. It just over the years, we've been working up to this, and we knew we always wanted to do a medieval film. We wanted to get swords involved. And there's, the way you film a regular fight scene, right? There's all the tricks to that. But as soon as you start adding in these swords, which, extend 2 to 3 feet further from people, there was a bit of learning on the fly. But we started the actual choreography. That was the first thing we did for this film. Once we kind of had the script, we had that started 6 months before production began because we knew it would just be so important for the film that we had to have that locked down. So Kristen, Dash, you the other night, we were training in our studio. We were meeting at a big gym there. We had a bit more free space to swing the swords, but that was the first thing we started trying to lock down for this film.
Well, you both you and Kristen, you've worked together before because you guys were both in Death Valley, correct?
That's right.
Yeah.
And Kristen, you're actually so our good friend Gabe. I know that he's got a film coming out that you're also in. You're in Death Cycle.
Yes, yeah, I am. Yeah, I've been very fortunate this year to be able to work with Gabe, and then also Matt and Jeremy again. We're working on another project at the moment as well. So, and then yeah, Night Spores come out, and yeah, it's been so fun, so fun.
So, I mean, let's stay on you, Kristen, just because otherwise we'll just monopolize the conversation, or I'll monopolize the conversation. So, is this the biggest role? Because I haven't seen Death Valley. Is this the biggest feature role you've had? Because you're on screen quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah. Death Valley, I was also, I would say, like the lead female. But I would say this had more, there was more storyline to Avalon. There was like obviously the fight scenes. And yeah, definitely this would be the biggest role I've done so far.
Scott, what do you got for these guys?
Like in terms of production, just who designed the costumes and everything?
Oh, that's a good question for Kristen. Kristen can answer that. We always have a family affair, so we get one person on the movie and we say, how many brothers or sisters do you have? And so Kristen has a sister, and I'll let you take that away, Kristen.
Yeah, so when we were filming Death Valley, my sister, she went to school for at Sheridan College for theater, like technical arts and all the, the behind the scenes stuff. And so I had said to Matt a couple of times, oh, my sister can like help with this outfit or this costume when we were doing Death Valley. And then when we were getting ready and gearing up to do A Night's War, he had asked me if I thought my sister Darcy would be interested in coming on the team and being head of wardrobe. And thankfully she said yes. And yeah, between her and Matt, they came up with all the ideas for all the costumes. And yeah, she made all of them, most of them anyways. But yeah, she's quite talented.
Yeah, this was her first production being a part of, and I don't know if she knew what she was signing up for, but within 2 weeks, and she's just like, well, actually, even before we started, she's like, okay, this is a lot. Like I remember, I think it was 2 weeks before we're supposed to film. We had our outfits all picked up. We had the armor, but like it just needed another layer, and the tunics are a hard piece to get by. And so I messaged Darcy behind Matt's back, and I said, Darcy, can you do this tunic up for me? And I went on Pinterest and I found all these tunic designs I liked and I put them all together. And she's just like, Jeremy, she's like, I'm so swamped. I don't think I can do it. And I'm like, no pressure. It would just really add to the movie if you can.
No pressure, no pressure.
So then Darcy had to put so many other things on the hold to get these tunics done up. And she shows up. It was like a couple days before filming, and like there's other characters and costumes she's supposed to be working on. And because I like went behind Matt's back and got her to do this, she showed up, and she's like, "Okay, guys." She's like, "I didn't get a bunch of other stuff done, but I got the tunics done." And Matt looked at me. He's just like, what? He's like, what do you mean the tunics? Anyways, she pulled out the tunics and Matt was so pissed. But then when he saw the tunics, he looked at me. He's like, you're so lucky. She did an incredible job on these
Yeah.
tunics. He's like, because I
Yeah.
was going to murder you. Because like the movie's about to start. We're missing outfits.
And you
Because she
go
had to take.
behind the director's back and just are like, I want this side project done.
But the thing is, it's like one of the opening shots of the film. You see us wearing these tunics, like it's on display, and you can see like they're just made like she did such a good job on them. So I'm like, just
Yeah.
to get them displayed, it really added to the production value, and I knew it was gonna, and so it was all good in the end. But yeah, had it not turned out good, I would have been in big trouble.
So was that like real armor that I'm assuming you rented that armor from like an armorer or something, correct?
No, so we bought that. We had a whole fiasco of trying to get that armor. We bought it. We sourced it from about 3 or 4 different locations, and actually, Kristen will probably tell a funny story about getting her armor that was custom made for her. But we tried it on. We did some photo shoots, and it was heavy. It's like mine was about 100 pounds, and Kristen's is not much less than that. And when we tried this armor on, I was about in it for 30, 40 minutes. And I'm like, I don't think I can do like 12-hour film days wearing this. Like it's cramping my back. The way this armor was designed, it's like 2 big leather straps on the shoulders, and it just all the weight goes on those straps. So it starts cramping and spazzing your back out really quickly. And so then I'm like, Matt, I can't do it. Like we got to come up with an alternative. So then he started making foam armor and tried to distress it. And so then we did a photo shoot with this foam armor and we sent it to a couple of our critical friends. And they're just like, that looks stupid. You got to just, they're like, tell Jeremy to suck it up. And Matt's like, you just got to suck it up.
And so did you just suck it up?
Yeah, we just had to suck it up, wear this real armor. And it was intense. I don't know, Kristen wants to tell about getting her custom armor made.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so Matt found this guy, I think on Etsy, and he's like, okay, found this guy. He's gonna make this custom armor for you because I'm obviously a little bit smaller than Jeremy, so I didn't really fit into the more generic sizes. And so Matt orders this armor, it comes in, and I try it on. Like it was so big. It was sick. It didn't fit me. Matt ended up wearing it in the film. In certain scenes. And so then we had to go with somebody else. And I don't know if it was another Etsy person, I can't remember, but then we had to get more custom made armor for me. But yeah, Jeremy did get to wear though a little rubber chainmail instead of the metal chainmail.
Halfway through production, I got to switch up because my chainmail was to get it on and off. It started like ripping open and it was like we put a little slit in it to make it easier to get on, and it just started growing and growing, and it was getting zip tied onto me every day, and like the whole thing was being held together by zip ties. And so then eventually we found out that for the Lord of the Rings that they used this it's basically half metal, half rubber chainmail.
Yeah.
And so we found out that's what they use, and it's way easier to put on, and it's significantly like weighs less, still like hefty, but I mean, you take off half the metal and switch it with little rubber ringlets, and you can't even tell. And so that I was happy to have that.
So, Kristen, what would you like the audience to know about this film? Like, is there any stories, anecdotes, or just why they should come out and watch you guys? Because you guys are going to be opening on the 21st at the Apollo Theater in Kitchener-Waterloo. So, what would you like the audience to know about your film?
I think just like first and foremost, just the amount of like love, effort, like blood, sweat, and tears that went into this film. It was a small casting crew. We're all outside braving the elements, braving the winter, and kind of like freezing our butts off to make this film, all because we just believed in it so much and we believe in each other. And I just really want people to see like the work that we put into it and appreciate that, I think. And like I mean, Jeremy can talk about this a little bit more as well. But when we were filming in Alberta, we were in the middle of like this frozen lake with mountains around us, and it was like when you step it on the ice, I think it was like -40 with a wind chill, and so it was, it's not warm, but it was such an amazing experience being able to do it with all these people. And then just in terms of the film, like the storyline, I think it just in terms of Avalon's character and Bodhi and their relationship and Avalon is very much a very determined. She's very, very determined for what to get what she wants. And Bodhi is, along the journey with her and trying to get her to see a different perspective. And then, I think at the end, she ends up choosing a different way, and that was because of him. And so I just think like their journey together was very is very special, and hopefully the audience will resonate with that.
Your character definitely has a very complete character arc, right? From, like you just said, like from where you start to literally where you finish, like it actually changes, not to spoil anything, but changes the course of history, basically, right? So
right.
What about you, Jeremy? Same question.
Yeah, so two parts. The one, like, to make the making of the film, like we had to overcoming the elements, and again, like on that, like I feel like we maximize this budget to the most. Like we had people, like we had some days there's only 10 people on set, and on a big day you might have 13. And so we had people like doing 3 different jobs on a day. And like, Kristen's sister Darcy, right? She's in charge of wardrobe. But then she's also like, getting us in and out of our armor, and, on minus, 20, minus 30 days. She's got her bare fingers out there, out in the cold doing that. But then we're like, actually, Darcy, we need someone to be the gatekeeper, like this kind of like witch like monster woman like coming out of the tub. So I'm like, you're on for that today. She's like, what? I'm acting? And we're like, yep, you're doing that. And then actually we need a priestess, so you got to do that too. And so I think she ended up playing 3 or 4 different roles in the movie. So you can just see her all throughout it. But I would just say that was par for the course of the movie. It was just like people were coming together, and it became a team of problem solvers. And this whole group, at first, we're just like, oh my gosh, like this is our first day filming. I think it was minus 12, and the wind was howling. Like, and we just had all the snow come down, and we're just like, oh boy, like this is the first day of filming, and everyone's like, this is tough, this is tough. But then we started almost like it was like a camaraderie where it was like, hey, let's overcome this together, and it almost became like a bonding experience in that sense, where everybody was bonding over the trauma of lugging in all this gear couple kilometers into this forest to go film these days, filming for like 10, 12 hours, and then logging it all back out, a couple kilometers. And we're climbing up and down hills, up rock faces. Like we literally had ropes to rappel in and out of these filming locations. So I would just hope people can watch some of the behind the scenes and just see, man, like it was quite the project of love, and everybody was a part of this film. They gave everything they had and more to make it. That'd be the one thing I really hope people can know about this film.
Well, it does all like I said, the aesthetic of this film is fantastic. Again, some of those drone shots of like the battles on the like frozen ice out in Alberta. But is it true you guys built a castle in your backyard in like Kitchener?
So yeah, we needed a castle. So we're like, okay, do we fly? We're going out to like Scotland. Like we're trying to find these like, getting releases for castles, and they're just so darn expensive to get everybody there and house.
Yeah, castles will be that, eh?
Yeah, right. Like, so then Matt was just like, we got to make a castle, and I'm like, how are we gonna make a castle? He's just like, it's okay. We'll just start it small, and we're just gonna cheat the shot. So it started in his backyard. And we maybe did. It was built like.
Do you mean like in Kitchener, like the city of Kitchener, not just like some big farm in the outskirts of Kitchener, like a house downtown kind of thing?
Well, like we're just outside of the city, but like we're in a suburban area. So we got neighbors all around. So he's got about a 1-acre property. So all the neighbors can see us building this. But if you look in his backyard, there's like a trampoline, there's a tree fort, and then all of a sudden you see this massive, it's about 30 by 40 feet, this castle we built. And just like, you're just like, where did this come from? So the whole town was asking like, what are you guys doing back there? But it started with just a little section of it. The first day we filmed, because we were making this castle as we filmed it, the first scene of the film, you'll see it, we're just shooting into the corner of this castle, and that's all we had. And then we had to grow that to a full 360 fort. And we were literally, once we finished filming, we'd go and start working on that with the group and get it going so it could be ready for the next weekend, where we had to shoot a bit wider. And we actually had to take down part of the castle because a tree came down because of a storm. So then we had to take it down, cut this tree up, and then rebuild it again. So Yeah, it's still there. It's like what? That's 2 years ago now. We still have this random castle in the back of Matt's yard. And
Does your
Matt's
brother
like,
have kids? Like, do you have nephews and
"Oh yeah,
nieces? And
he's
they're
got
like,
3."
yeah, we got a castle.
They bring all their friends over to go look at it. So it's like the ultimate like a little kids club. But yeah, we're keeping it up because we're like we got the sequel coming sometime soon, hopefully.
Oh, nice. So there is a plan. Like, are you guys already in your
we
pre-production?
we have scripts written for 2 sequels for this. So as long as it does well, we're hoping that we get to continue on with the story. Like this first one was there's so much lore and story building. And we just thought this was the quickest, easiest way to get into this movie. So we have an even bigger world planned for after this, bigger battle scenes, the works. This was just we just wanted to get this story started and have people interested and say, okay, what's next?
Well, hopefully when that's ready, you guys can come back and talk about that film as well. Scott, do you have anything else for our guests before we let them go?
I asked all the questions. Holy. No, I love this film. And yeah, like I still don't believe the budget you're saying. I know it was more and like I know it was more because it looks like it. And then I'm just thinking about your nephew where most kids are like, come check out my tree house and he's like, hold my beer. I got a castle. But yeah, it was awesome. And I wish you guys all the best of luck on this
Thank you.
premiere and everything like that.
Thank
And I think people should come out and watch this.
Is there anything you guys
appreciate
want to
that.
say before? Sorry, I cut Scott off. That's what I do on this show. That's really
No, it's good.
Here. Is there anything else you guys want to say before we kind of wrap it up here?
Kristen, you got something else?
No, I don't think so, really. But I do hope people come and support us next week, or sorry, tomorrow, in Kitchener at the Apollo Cinema. And then we are also doing another screening in Hamilton next week on the 25th, and then in Toronto as well on April 4th. So if you're not local to Kitchener area, you can always catch us on the big screen in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, hopefully we'll see you guys there.
And we'll be at all 3 showings too. So the whole cast and crew will be showing up there. So if people want to ask questions, pick our brains, we can go into greater detail about, how we made this film.
Love the plug, guys. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And
thanks for having us.
Yeah, good luck with your
thank you so
premiere
much.
tomorrow.
All right, thanks. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Ciao. Yeah, so that was the cast of A Knight's War. As they said, they're going to be opening at the Apollo Cinema in Kitchener tomorrow, March 21st. Then they've got a showing at the Playhouse in Hamilton, March 25th. And if you're in the city of Toronto, check out the review on April 4th. Scott, anything else before we close out for the day?
No, I think that's it. And that is our wrap for the day. Please like and subscribe to this podcast. Tell your friends. If you want to get a hold of us, reach us at the www.howdyoulikethatmovie.com.
Production by Rod Shaver, Vader Monkey Productions.